guys, I'm here with Vanessa Hannell, and she is an awesome urban farmer in Calgary. She runs a microgreens urban farm called Micro YYC, and we're gonna talk about it.
Awesome.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for meeting me on the farm.
Thanks for having me.
You guys were in town doing like a wedding or something?
Yeah, we're here for a wedding, and yeah, I just wanted to tour the local sites.
That's awesome. Vanessa and I met years ago. You came to one of my workshops in Calgary. I think Luke was saying it was like 2012 or something like that.
I think 2012, yeah.
2012. So holy crap, 6 years ago. Wow, it's been that long, hey?
Yeah.
And so I want to know, well, I want my viewers to know about kind of how you started with this, because what you do now is you're basically growing microgreens in an indoor warehouse type space, right?
Yeah.
And you're cranking out probably a few different types of commodity ones that you do a lot of, and then a bit of other stuff, right? Yeah,
I've got like 6 retail products, and then I also do specialty crops for chefs and special requests and events. When they come up.
Right, but probably the bulk of it is the stores and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like 99% is my retail customers for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And okay, so tell everybody how you got into this, because it didn't start with just microgreens.
No, it didn't. I took a lot of different urban gardening and farming courses, including yours. And I spent a season market gardening on a rural property, which actually, it started with an internship on that hobby farm.
Okay.
So just kind of doing
hobby farm.
Hobby farm.
Hobby farm.
Hobby farm.
Like growing hops? A hobby farm?
No, so like they had different animals and gardens and things, and just helping with general chores.
Okay.
And then they offered us space out there, and so we did some market gardening out there. We also had a greenhouse in the city where we did some microgreens.
Okay.
And then, when that came to an end, it was winter, and I was like, well, I would like to continue doing this for myself, and it made sense to start indoors with microgreens in my basement.
In your basement?
As you
Perfect.
do.
Yep. As I've done.
Yeah, I had every intention of going back outside and doing some spin farming and farming urban plots, and the microgreens business just really took up all of my time, and I thought it might be better as a single person doing it, like not having any support, not having a business partner, just to focus my physical energy in a smaller space. And I really liked doing it too, and it was in my house, and that made it really easy for the first couple of years. So
that's what's so cool about microgreens, hey, is you can just do a little bit and just scale it up as you want.
Yeah.
And like you can do it just so it's part-time for one person, and then you can make it full-time for a person, then you can make it full-time for multiple people.
That's exactly what I did. I had a part-time job at the farmer's market, so that worked great.
Okay, synergistic.
And then I had the connections to start selling right away. I had access to my customers right away.
Oh, you mean of a farmer's market clientele?
So I actually...
You had a booth at the market? Or?
No, I wholesale to a vendor.
Oh, you can do that at that market?
Yeah.
Okay,
so he carries my product.
Okay.
In his booth.
Is that like that permanent, what's that market?
The Calgary Farmers Market.
Oh, okay.
Most of the markets in Calgary are like a multi-day format, and they have, so most of the booths, while the farmers are present and around, they do have staff.
It's like a Granville Island market type thing in Vancouver?
And they have the couple of like cornerstone booths that have, that do because it's year round and we're in Alberta.
Right.
They also bring in product from other places in the off season and whatnot, so that the market is still vibrant year round. Okay. But during the prime season, they have as much local as possible. So the person I work with, he does hydroponic peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers. Okay.
He grows those himself or imports or brings those in too?
No, he's got greenhouse operations in Gull Valley.
Okay.
And so he also carries my microgreens.
Okay.
So he does carry a few other, but you have to get permission to do that.
Okay,
so
right.
That's how that works. But
okay.
Yeah, so I already knew him and had that connection, and he's still my biggest and best customer. So that's the best relationship that I've cultivated. But so I started with the part-time, and then when that contract ended, because I was just doing an administrative kind of marketing mat leave role at the market, and then it ended, and at that point, I took on a couple small contracts after that point, but I basically was in it full-time and just grew it from there, and then hired someone for like a short period, and then hired another person.
And then were you still, at this point, were you still doing it in your house? I
was for the first 2.5 years of Micro YYC's existence. So I only moved it out of my house last spring, and spent 6 months sharing a space with another business, and then moved into my own warehouse in December.
So how many square feet is this warehouse?
1,500.
Okay. It's a pretty good sized warehouse.
Yeah.
High ceilings and stuff.
Yeah, really high ceilings. The grow space is like just kind of in the corner. Like there's lots of room to grow the grow area. But I have I have a walk-in cooler, I have my whole harvesting area, I've got storage, I have a planting area, I have a desk.
Wow, okay.
Little kitchen for my staff.
Awesome. Wow, wow.
Nothing fancy. It's
yeah.
like a microwave.
So how many, so that's where it is today. And like how many flats are you guys doing a week?
250.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, something around there.
Something
every
around
week.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then if I have a YYC growers order, it goes up.
Then it
by
goes
like
up.
100,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very cool.
They place large orders infrequently.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes those are cool customers though, because if you plan for them.
Yeah.
Because in microgreens you can pretty much do a clock to.
Yeah.
And know when they're going to be ready, as long as you know the crop.
And they give the harvest box schedule for the whole season, so I know when those orders are coming up. So I always know when they're coming as long as I remember to check the spreadsheet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. So I can plan for it, and I just have to have extra staff or plan to be there myself longer that week.
Yeah.
Which is usually the case.
You know, there's a question that I know people in my audience are going to ask, and they're going to ask about what are the health code regulations like for you? Have they been a barrier to entry for you?
Surprisingly, they haven't.
You don't have to deal with the CFIA or anything like that?
I think technically my labels are, like, they have to follow those rules, but because CFIA is kind of more, like, you don't have to, like, get anything checked by them in order to make a label and put it on your food and sell it.
That's right. Yeah, with some things maybe you do, but
I think because microgreens are still produce, they're not as strictly enforced.
Yeah.
I did like check the CFIA rules before I made my labels to make sure that I was following the rules.
Yeah.
Like I have the weight in grams, I have what's included in it, I have the basics, like where I'm located, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Alberta Health Services does like give you a food handling permit, and they come and they inspect you and whatnot and make sure that you have the proper sanitizer and that your cooler's at the right temperature and that sort of thing.
Oh, really? They do that? Okay.
Yeah, and they could pop in at any time.
Right. Oh, really? Unannounced? They just show up?
Yeah, just like a restaurant or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but yeah, I have a really basic food handling permit because I'm not cooking.
Right.
I'm not really processing anything.
Right,
I'm just
right.
handling food and putting it in a package.
So it's not really a big deal.
It's
really.
not. It's not. If you like,
in some places it is a big deal. Like some people in the U.S., you know, think it's insane, and it sounds insane.
Yeah, and like you do have to do things properly, but I'm happy to keep the food safe.
Sure.
And do things properly and jump through the hoops that are there.
Right.
In order to have access to the space. Like growing it in my basement wasn't exactly, because I was mostly selling to the farmers market. I didn't like have Alberta Health Services come.
Yeah.
And I don't like. It was just one of those things where I didn't. It's kind of like you fly under the radar while you're small. And then once you get to a certain size, you have to participate in the system, because otherwise you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's just not going to be worth it. They're going to hound you, and it's like whether you agree with the laws or not. I don't agree with them. I think they're all stupid. But
yeah, no, and I don't think they really get what I'm doing. But also, I had a lot of people say like, "Oh, you can't get a permit for what you're doing," and you can. You just go to the city and you talk to them and you get the things.
They tick some boxes and they pay some money.
The firefighters come and make sure you have extinguishers.
Right. Yeah.
And they make sure you're not blocking the door with anything, like boxes of containers or something like that. Right. And then they give you a check mark. So it's not as hard as people think. You just have to do it. People often get really intimidated by those kinds of things. Yeah, and I certainly was when I started.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it is like in any business. What's it like? I mean, when you first got into all this stuff, we were talking about this earlier, but you were kind of like into permaculture and all this other maybe hippy dippy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's like microgreens are very the same thing over and over. It's very different from herb spirals and forest gardens.
Very different. You know,
so how is that transition? Is it still excite you, and is it? You've changed your views on some things maybe on this whole journey? Yeah, I think permaculture was kind of the gateway into going from business school to what's next. Then I stumbled into permaculture and my mind exploded and I wasn't sure what life was anymore. So thanks, Rob Avis. Yeah, right. But
I was looking for a niche. I was looking for the thing that could be an income producing business.
Yeah.
I think I thought maybe I would become like a landscape designer or something.
Sure.
But I think it just wasn't my forte. Like I needed something I could do by myself without too much other, like, I don't know. I just like, I'm good at focusing in on something on my own. And so with the microgreens, you can experiment and you get feedback really quickly. And so it's easy to improve at it.
Yes.
Whereas if you're designing landscape or installing a food forest,
yeah.
or like, there's so many factors and it takes so long to get the feedback sometimes.
Exactly.
I really did stumble into microgreens. And once I started doing it, I just really loved it. I love the immediate, like, you plant the seeds and they sprout and you harvest them, you get them to your customer right away. And I still am excited to do those things.
Yeah.
I have a lot of help with the labor now because, like, I can only put so many lids on before my hands fall off.
I know, hey, yeah.
And like, it's hard on your body, even though it's micro scale. Like, it's a lot of repetitive work. Moving things around and lifting,
like,
and
being a cashier in a grocery store, like you're doing the same.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I was getting like tendonitis in my wrists and low back injuries and all the things from just not having the, like, when I was in my basement, I would be carrying trays of soil up the stairs and it like compacted my spine.
Wow.
I was like, okay, so
now you need some.
Now I have like compost bins on wheels and like,
there you go, on casters. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, you know, someone comes and picks them up and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, and having labor and having help, and
it's huge.
Yeah, it's very important. And then I get to work on the business, which is like, I'm good at that and I have background in that. And
that's what's so cool. I mean, just hearing you talk about that, it's like a lot of things that I've known about microgreens. Like, one is that they're kind of a gateway crop because they're a thing you can get into relatively easily. Mm-hmm. You can scale it really easily because you just literally turn up the dial, put in, you know, you get more lights, get more soil, talk to a couple more customers. But the thing that's really neat listening to you talk about this is it's very rare that people this early in their career in farming have the time to work on their business like you do. Yeah. That's rare. And if you've got a really good social media presence, you have really nice photographs on Instagram, and a lot of people can get to that years. And this is one thing that's neat about microgreens opposed to market gardening like this, is that you can get the production going to a point with some momentum where you feel comfortable and you can delegate things well enough that now you can like spend 1 or 2 days a week on just like business admin, marketing, customer service. A lot of farmers are just scrambling all the time because they're managing stuff in the field, they're fixing slippage, they're taking calls, you know, like I've been there in both aspects, so I see it. And it's really cool. Wouldn't you say that that's really true about microgreens opposed to like other things?
Absolutely. And like, I still struggle to get those admin days, and like admin days are my favorite days because I get to sit down and like organize all the papers. And like, I spent a lot of time doing social media and marketing and business admin in all the work I did before I started my own business. And it's actually something I'm very good at and enjoy doing. So a lot of people start their own business and they don't like doing that stuff, and so it gets deprioritized, whereas I'm always trying to make space for it, because when I feel organized, I run the business better. And like, it doesn't, you know, it's easy to train someone to harvest and package microgreens, but it's not easy to train someone to, I don't know,
troubleshoot.
Solve
problems
and like just like file things and put things where they go, and like it's like I have checks coming in all the time and they're here and there, and I have to deposit them and pay attention and mark things off and check the invoices and make sure nothing's missed, and that's the stuff that takes the most of my brain power.
Absolutely.
Whereas I love being at the warehouse and just like being in the flow of like tidying up or doing some harvesting, or kind of like, that feels good too. But it's like, I do like being there like in the evening at the end of a day, like kind of wrapping up all the loose
That's
ends.
a great feeling as a business owner though, in general, isn't it? Because you're like, you accomplished something, it's yours, you feel really proud of what you've done. That's really cool.
But it's good to have time to do both.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
So what is where do you see this operation going in the next couple of years, or are you looking ahead and thinking of things you want to change or try, or?
I'm always thinking about that. People ask me that all the time. Definitely settling into the new space and like maximizing what I'm doing now and reaching out to more stores and more like kind of expanding what I'm currently doing, because that's the thing I've perfected, or maybe not perfected, but that's the thing I've really gotten good at. And still, of course, I'd like to work with some select restaurants and things like that. But I have actually been toying around with other niche, like I'd like to get into maybe some other niche areas like edible flowers, or Luke and I have been talking about like edible perennials, like on a scale that you could actually sell them.
Right. And you mean as nurseries stuff, or as
or
selling
as
fruit?
Or like not, well, maybe not fruit, but yeah, like as a crop for sale, potentially. Okay. But the thought of like moving back outside, that's probably not in the next couple of years, but maybe down the line, like having a microgreen operation alongside other niche agricultural products.
It's really cool. It's so neat that microgreens can do that, because you can keep that business operating year round in pretty much any circumstance. Weather isn't an issue. So you keep the business flowing, you keep the brand present, you keep your social media active, and you can just stack in little enterprises.
Yeah.
It's such a great thing.
It's kind of trying to decide which ones.
Yeah,
like, do you want to get into like working with like juice companies and getting in that door, or do you want to go more specialty restaurant crops, or I don't know, like I'm still trying to narrow that down, but I certainly want to do more than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And not just like scaling it up. I want to add different avenues, I guess, like eventually.
Yeah. But, you know, doesn't have to be too complicated, but it's working now, so.
It is working now, and it's a lot of people, it's funny, people like literally will be like, so you can pay the rent here? Like, and I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, right, no, take me seriously. Well, that's how it is with urban farming in general, though. I remember that a lot. Like, people would be like, so you're still doing that thing, growing food on lawns? It's like, oh, have you know that we grow a lot of food?
Yeah,
you know?
Like, I can still pay the bills, it's okay.
Yeah, that's funny, eh?
Yeah, like there's still a lot of room to grow, obviously, but
right.
I think because I spent the first couple of years with no overhead, it really allowed me to get it to a point where I could afford the space that I needed.
Yes.
If I had dove into that right away, it would not have worked without some investment, like, or some capital, or a friend with money, because some people have asked me too, they've been like, oh, like what was like your capital investment on this? And like literally there wasn't one,
because you just kept incrementally growing it, right?
I bought
you cash flowed the business entirely. That's amazing.
And I still have entirely. I still haven't used any outside investment. It's getting to a point where that could be a nice thing in order to like
really
to make the infrastructure in my current space like a little bit better, and have a nicer office space, and sort of there's some things that would be nice for, but the cash is still flowing. So
it's so cool. There's so few businesses in general, let alone not even just agricultural business, but there's so few businesses that you can incrementally get production going, get cash flow going, recapitalize, cash flow, recapitalize. You can just keep snowballing it and snowballing it and snowballing it. I mean, granted, if you wanted to say, I want to go 10x, of course you would need investment. But that's something different. The fact that you've been able to, but that's what's neat about it too, though, is that you can kind of prove the concept, get the cash flow going, and any investor would look at that and say, hey, the numbers are steady and solid. We'll lend this person money if they need it. You know?
And I think if I went to my bank, that they would that would not be an issue, because I have been a customer for a while, and they've seen the cash flowing.
They see the checks coming in.
And then I've actually had recently someone contact me too, like wanting to essentially, I don't know what the correct term is, but like hire me to run their farm.
Oh wow.
Because they have investors and they want a high-tech situation, one of the like prefab container hydroponic situations.
Wow.
And they essentially want to just they want to like pull me out of what I'm doing to run their farm, and I'm like, this is weird.
Well,
and I like don't even know what to do with it right now. I'm just
wow. Oh, that's interesting. You know, who knows? I mean, that's the neat thing about a microgreens operation too, is you can automate it. You can automate it better than this. So that maybe you can buy yourself time to do that.
And I also don't do hydroponics, and it's mostly because I don't have the technological know-how, and I just did what I knew how to do. Like a lot of people want to know why I chose soil, and I was like, why? I just didn't know another way. I'm sorry, it wasn't super intentional. It just happened this way, and this works. And hand watering it doesn't take as long as people think it does, and this works. And like if I get more customers, I just go to Costco and buy some more shelves. And order some lights from the distributor and set them up.
That's
it. It's really straightforward. So I don't know. I've kind of just been like going with what works and learning and growing from there, but I don't know.
Yeah, it works. Well, I think we'll leave it there. If people want to find out more about you, what's the best? Instagram, your website?
Instagram. I actually don't have a website.
Oh, okay.
So Instagram. I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well, but Instagram is like.
Yeah, she's got an awesome Instagram profile. I'll leave that in the show notes so you guys can follow Vanessa on her awesome farming adventures.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Curtis.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.